Howdy, Beeflowbird here, and welcome. Alright, this video is brought to you by Strava Craft Coffees. And with Strava Craft Coffees, you can get coffee with CBD infused. And absolutely 100% love this coffee. So, if you want to help support the channel, and support them, a great company, and get some great coffee along the way, go visit the link in the description, StravaCraftCoffees.com, and pick up some other great coffees. And I'm going to tell you, the medium roast is good, and I've grown a really good appreciation for the dark roast. With 20 milligrams of CBD, it has been quite beneficial to me in many ways. So, to help support me, help support the channel so you can see more videos, and to get some great coffee, go by there, and on checkout use the promo code BEEFALO20 and you'll get 20% off your first order. Alright, thanks. So, moving into the video, wanted to quickly touch on cameras, switching between cameras. And there's been some talk back and forth, but what I'm going to do really quickly is set up, and this is essentially a blank project. We're going to do keyboard and V to change our view. You can do whatever you want to change your view. And I'm going to set these up as custom events so that they can be called whenever possible or whenever you need them. So custom event, and we're going to call this our FPS view. And if you need to replicate this because of the movement of the player, you're more than welcome to do it that way as well. So custom event, we're going to go back to third person. TPS view. Delightful. And we're going to go ahead and save that. We're going to run this as a flip-flop, so that when we hit it one time, we change to our new camera. We hit it again, we go back to our old one. And all we're going to do is FPS view. And from here, we're going to TPS view. Nice and simple. And clean. So now we actually need a camera. So we're going to go to our viewport. I have nothing selected here at all. Nothing is selected. I'm going to add a camera. We're going to call this our FPS camera. Use depth camera. You can add as many cameras as you want here, but we do need to come down here and uncheck auto activate in the details panel. Compile, save, and we're going to go ahead and take this camera and move it up to about nose level and move it up to about here. Now this is going to be one method. I will come up with some other methods to show in future videos if you guys want to, on how to do this correctly. But we're going to go ahead and grab a reference to our follow camera, a reference to our FPS camera. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to deactivate our FPS camera. And we're going to need another deactivate node here shortly, because when we do the opposite, we're going to deactivate it there. We're going to deactivate the follow camera. Got these backwards. Alright, so first thing we're doing is we're going to deactivate our follow camera, and then we are going to activate our FPS camera. So we're turning off this one, we're turning on that one. And then when we hit the V key again, we're doing the opposite. We're going to turn off the FPS camera. We're going to turn on this camera. Now, the next thing we need to do as well is in our FPS camera, we need to use pawn control rotation. Go ahead and compile and save that. And after we have changed our cameras, we need to do one more thing, and set use controller rotation yaw. We're going to check it here and leave it unchecked on the bottom. So we're going to turn this on, and then when we change cameras, we're going to turn it back off again. And let's go from here. Let's test it out. So if we hit the V key, we go to that. We can move around. We can see ourselves. We can see when we run, we can see our shoulders and neck and head and so forth. And that's kind of a problem. A short-term solution, and I will come up with a better solution, is to actually go in here and get a reference to your mesh. You said this is a short-term solution that's going to be usable for multiplayer and single player and everything else. You can do owner no C. We're going to copy that. We're going to check the top one and leave the bottom one unchecked. And as it says, owner no C. Only you are the owner of this particular character, and only you will not see you. You can see we have a shadow. When we hit that, we no longer have a shadow. We no longer exist. So, short-term solution, and you can see there's no head bob. Everything is smooth. You're running around. Everything's great. You hit V, you're back to normal again. And if you were to go in here and set it for 2 players, new pie, we've got a server here and our client here. So you can see our client and server. I will position it like so. And we go to our client. Client hits V, so they go into that mode. As you can see, our server still sees the player just as normal, so it's working just fine. So the server, no problem. They can see him. They still have collision. Everything else still works, but you, the actual person, you cannot see yourself. You can see the bottom left is the server view, and the server can see the client plain as day. Alright, so quick recap. All we did was create an input for the V key, set a flip-flop, and told it to run our 2 custom events. First one being FPS view, which deactivates the follow camera and activates the FPS camera. We set use controller rotation yaw and set owner no C to true. Our FPS camera is auto activate is turned off, and use pawn control rotation is on. And the bottom is just reversing the order in this section here, so that when we hit the TPS view, now doing it this way, for some reason you're setting up another kind of view, like a death view, death cam view. You can actually tell it to run the custom event for a death cam, and then once your death sequence is finishing up and you've respawned or whatever, you can tell it to go right back to FPS view, and then that way it's not going to interfere with this. You can add other variables in, like is dead, and prevent it from doing this whenever you're dead, but you can always activate the third-person view or the first-person view directly just by running these custom events separately. So I hope this helped, and we'll get you going. For the time being, I will come up with another method for actually making the camera not actually show the player mesh clipping through it. But for now, this is the best method for handling it for now. Thanks for watching, and we will see you around.